My name is Stephen Anaker with Polishing Pro Systems. The purpose of this video is to give you a basic operating knowledge of how to use the Engineered Stone system. Now, when you purchase your Engineered Stone system, if you purchase the full ES restoration kit, you will receive 2 4-inch pads, one each of the 8,000 grit compound, one each 14,000 grit compound. The newest addition to this system is the Engineered Stone soft polish compound, as well as the Velvet Touch pad. If you are buying an add-on kit because you already have our Natural Stone Restoration kit, then you will receive the 2 4-inch pads, the Velvet Touch pad, and the Soft Touch polishing compound. You will need the 8,000 and 14,000 grits from the original kit. Now let's discuss a couple of differences. In the ES kit, Engineered Stone, it's very crucial to keep it very, very cool. This is an entirely mechanical process and temperature is a factor. Now that we've touched on that, let me explain some differences between the Natural Stone kit and the ES kit. The ES kit, the reason we are using the 4-inch pads is that it has a larger center section allowing greater airflow at lower speeds, which is crucial for the Engineered Stone process. On the Natural Stone process, we have the high-speed 3-inch pad, which at the higher speeds generate sufficient airflow to keep the surface within relative temperature for the natural stone. Though this will work on Engineered Stone, it has to be run at extremely low speeds and can possibly give you a ripple effect. So we suggest you use the 4-inch pads. I'm going to start by putting a scratch in the surface of this stone. This stone is a Caesar stone, number 6770. It's a brown stone, it's a darker stone, so we should be able to show you the differences and how to polish the surface. Let me make a scratch. I'm going to use a diamond blade, and I'm going to scratch the surface of this Engineered Stone. Okay, I am going to polish half of this stone, leaving the other half and feathering in the factory finish. What we're going to do, much like the Natural Stone system, and if you have one of those products, then you know that we use an orbital sander for this. This brings us to some additional things that we will need to do this process. You are going to need a spray bottle with water to lubricate the surface. You will need some paper towels for general cleanup. You will need a terry cloth towel for final cleanup. You will need a fingernail brush because at times it becomes necessary, not necessarily to clean the surface of the stone. Wiping it down is perfectly fine, but more importantly to clean excess compound and resin off the surface of the pad to maintain texture. Through the initial steps of this process, the texture of the pad interacting with the free particulate technology incorporated in this, it allows for that texture difference, that Engineered Stone difference between the aggregate and the resin. If this becomes filled, you will end up with a shiny flat spot. So we just keep it clean with this in a bucket of water or under the sink, whatever, making sure that you just keep it clean and free of the resin and debris. Additionally, we're going to need an orbital sander. This process is done entirely utilizing an orbital sander. A key point to point out about the orbital sander is 1, it needs to be variable. 2, check the backer deck on it to make sure that it is not wobbling around. If it is wobbling around, then you need to replace the main bearing in it or have a technician take care of, fix that for you. The reason that this has to be flat is because that oscillation in the deck will transfer into the material and can result in either dips or kind of a wave effect in the surface. So it's very crucial to make sure that you have a solid deck such as that. One of the last things you're going to need is diamond pads, the resin pads. I'm going to be using a high-grade 3-step system for this. Another key point that I should point out to you is the edges of these pads, this outside edge, I previously put this on a grinder and I ran it on the edge to create a slight roll on the edge. This will help so that you don't end up with haloing on the surface or kind of a deep pit. It feathers in much better if you just simply round that outside edge. Okay, well, I think we're ready to get started here, so we'll be right back.